Almost Adequate, live from my Facebook page. Not my Facebook page, it's live from my basement on Facebook Live. See, I already got a laugh out of Peter John Ross, our director tonight. Also joining me, Naomi Rossman, thank you for help setting up. Also, Mike Miletic, Micah Jenkins, Dino Tripodis is here. We'll be talking with him in a moment. The 5-finger test punch. You came back.
I did. I'm so happy to be back. It feels so good.
I'm happy to have you back.
Thanks, dude.
We're gonna start.
That's like the first compliment he's ever given me.
Yeah, we're gonna start things off properly by recapping our Saturday evening. Ross, put the camera on you, please. So we had a night out. It was an almost adequate evening out, and boy, did it live up to the billing. We went to a gentleman's club that we'll just keep, we won't name specifically for numerous reasons, but we had an evening out. And it was pretty fun. Was it a bad time, Tess?
No, it was a great time. The staff was amazing.
Great time.
The prices of drinks and food.
And let's talk about the free food that was offered at this fantastic establishment.
Fantastic wings.
Amazing. We are not making this up. Bring up my camera, please, because I want to talk to the people for a second. Don't ever badmouth a buffet at a strip club until you actually have tried it. Ross, it was a man who loves fried food. It was fantastic.
I have a deep, passionate love affair with fried food.
Right.
I used to call my house, I have my own deep fat fryer. Mm-hmm. And I used to bread my own chicken strips, mushrooms, and zucchini.
I love this.
I have my own honey mustard that I make. And I used to call my house the Triple Bypass Cafe.
Okay, can I say something about these wings? They were traditional, so they weren't. A lot of people, most people I find, like boneless. These were bone in, and the meat was juicy, and it was like perfectly fried, and the sauce.
So we could talk about this for hours about how good the wings were, but we're not going to talk about that. What we are going to talk about is Ross. Ross was talking to me and Tess, and was explained to us that he likes women who have tattoos, pink hair, and daddy issues. It sounds like a country western song. Pink hair, tattoos, and daddy issues.
It's the trifecta of perfection for me for a woman is purple, blue, or pink hair, tattoos, and severe daddy issues. Not just daddy issues, severe daddy issues.
So at least an 8 out of 10 with the daddy issues, huh?
It's a requirement.
I have daddy issues, and they're dangerous, dude.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Tess was running interference, because at a gentleman's club, occasionally it can get, you can get, what's the word? Not harassed, but, it's just that element of people wanting to give you a dance that just can ruin an evening. You were running interference, doing very well. You kept your eye off the prize for a second, and next thing you know, Ross is talking to whom, Ross? Who was this young lady that you were speaking to?
She went by the name of Candy.
Okay.
I'm certain that's not her real name.
Yeah, real creative there, Candy. And Candy was dark hair, no dye, braces, and I would have checked ID, man, because I don't know if she was there legitimately. Like, you might have...
She claimed to have been 19.
Okay. There for paying for school, right? Is that the line she gave?
Of course, she's working her way through college. She wants to be an artist. Mm-hmm. That sob story got to me. Now, here's the thing I did, though.
Oh, dear Lord. How am I not on this segment?
The funniest part of this is that at the very beginning of the night, Ross says, I am not going back to a room for a lap dance. And sure enough, we had to leave him.
We kept our eye off the prize, and sure enough, Ross was gone. We waited for a solid, no joke, 10 to 12 minutes.
No way.
Oh, we
These
did.
were two very short songs.
It must have been like Heard It Through the Grapevine and Stairway to Heaven then.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember that either. But you were gone for a long time.
You were. We left you. So we left your ass.
I'm very aware you guys left me there. After I did,
we waited
forever, and we were like, "Oh God!"
My walk of shame, walking out of this little private room, was just horrifying to walk out, and then to have that lonely misery.
So, Ross, we're gonna wrap this up because we'd go on for hours. But thank you. I'm glad that you didn't have to get a second job bussing tables at the Golden Corral to pay for your evening. Number one, and number two, I assume you're bringing her home to meet the parents here shortly.
She didn't pass the test.
Did you meet her parents?
her mother works there
Thank you.
as a stripper.
That's outstanding.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's the best.
Kidding
it's
me.
a family business.
She didn't work there though that night though.
She wasn't there that night. I would have loved to have met her mother.
Okay.
I would have loved to have met her mom.
Wouldn't that have been fantastic?
Just the sociological aspect of it would have been amazing.
I would have been like, I want a mother-daughter dance. Like a proper
like
one.
a wedding?
Exactly.
Like mother-daughter dance.
I want a mother-daughter dance. I would have worked that one out.
That's the Lifetime movie I want to see.
Right.
That's the one.
I would have helped subsidize that experience for you, Ross, if we were capable of this happening.
You know what? They probably make some damn good money together. They probably live together in like a mansion here in Columbus.
Well, no, because
based
poor
on the
life
story
decisions.
she told,
Yeah,
they're
poor life
definitely not
decisions
living in a
kind of go
mansion.
along with that.
I'm just
I will
glass
tell you,
half full, guys.
I'm absolutely certain that the mobile home was considered the mansion of mobile homes, but it was not a mansion as a mansion.
It was a full-blown double wide.
Tiny luxury.
Very good. Okay, Ross, we could talk about this all night, but we need to move on. Movie cliches. We played one of these last week, featuring the lovely Five-Finger Test Punch. Also, Joe Fuller was in the clip. This week we have something a little different. Ross, talk about this that you're about to play for us.
So this is another one where, I get really sick of kind of the tropes and cliches in movies. So I wrote a bunch of these to kind of demonstrate what these cliches could be like in a movie. So here's a little something from our friend Johnny DiLoretto that I did with him.
Featuring Mike Maletic.
Yes, Mike.
Hollywood has a bad habit of putting cliches in movies. Now, they've been doing it for years and we aren't going to stop them, but we can point it out when they do. Why is it that in every bar, in every movie, people just walk in up to the bartender and order a beer? No follow-up questions, just a beer. You know what I'm talking about? A guy walks up and says, "I'll have a beer." And instead of asking him to specify a brand or type, the bartender just hands him a random generic bottle.
Hey, sorry. Traffic was terrible.
There's something I need to ask you.
What can I get you guys?
I'll have a beer.
Me too. So, as I was saying,
I'm sorry, what kind of beer?
what? Just a beer, okay? So, I got this for you.
Sir, I can't just get you 2 beers. You need to know what kind. Domestic, imported, tap, bottled, light beer, dark beer. What kind do you want?
Just get us 2 beers, please.
Look, alcohol is expensive. But if I get you something you don't like and we have to throw it out, it comes out of my tips.
2 beers, get them now.
I guess that in the world of movies, one single conglomerate has a monopoly on beer. Either that or every bartender in every bar around the world has the worst psychic ability ever.
All right, we're back here. Ross, you know what that reminded me of? That clip was, Dino, I don't know if you've ever seen this. Did you ever have one of these generic beers? I remember seeing these on the road climb. It was the white can. Ross, pull this up. Should be able to see it there. The white can that just said beer on it.
Yeah. That was I remember seeing those at the Big Bear, store. You get Big Beer at Big Bear.
And of course they got a little bit more progressive. Ross fired the other one, the light beer. Man, I can only imagine how delicious that must have
been. It was a special time.
Right.
How are you?
Thanks for coming in
Hey
tonight,
man,
my
thanks
friend.
for having me.
Dino Tripodis, you guys know him from Sunny 95. He's been on there for 24 years now.
I think I'm coming up on 24 or finishing 24, getting ready to start 25, something like that. Yeah.
Talk about
Long
how you
time.
got started in radio. I know you were a stand-up comic for years.
I still keep my foot in stand-up, but yeah, it was a happy accident. I was a guest on Sunny 95 as a stand-up comedian, doing my thing out in L.A. like everybody else, trying to get discovered and doing sets at the Improv and at the Comedy Store. Still phoning in, though, at Sunny 95 on a regular basis and doing my bits. An opening came up. They offered me a job as a sidekick to the gentleman at the time who was Bob Simpson. I said no like 2 times. Finally, the 3rd time, I thought, you know what? My daughter lives in Columbus, Ohio. She's going to turn 13 years of age. They'll realize they made a horrible mistake. It'll last a year. I can put it on the resume, make some money, pay some bills, go back out to L.A. In fact, I kept my house. The room I was living in in L.A. At the time, I kept it because I thought I'm coming back.
Yeah.
But after 1 year, they let the host go. Stacy and I filled in thinking we're short timers. Let's just have fun and not care.
Right.
Ratings went up. They offered us the morning show, and the rest, as they say in the business, is history.
But it's been good. It's been
great history.
It's been a great 24 years for you.
It's been an awesome 24 years. Are you kidding me? I hate to talk about cliches. I hate to say it, but every year's been a blessing, man.
Wow.
It's been great.
Very cool. Jimmy pointed this out over on Facebook when I mentioned that you were going to be in here tonight. And he said he saw you at the Funny Bone one time, and you were very blue. You know, you work blue. Or
I don't work blue.
Oh,
Who said that? Who
Come
said
on.
I work blue?
But
I don't hire that kid. I don't know blue.
So
I curse from time to time. Cursing is not blue. Blue to me is the material you choose to talk about as far as subject matter goes. And I mean, I'll drop an F-bomb from time to time, but that's hardly blue.
Okay.
Blue reminds me of boring.
He was remarkable.
Yeah.
So he was remarking about.
I work light blue. I work light blue.
He was remarking about the juxtaposition of you
Yeah.
doing stand-up versus Dino on Sunny
Absolutely.
95.
If you're a Sunny 95 listener and you come to see me at the Funny Bone, you're going to see a different shade of Dino.
And he loved this.
Yeah, and that's without a doubt, for sure. But it's a beautiful thing.
That's got to be difficult.
No,
for you.
not at all.
Really?
Not at all.
Even initially, it was like, okay, I gotta turn on the family-friendly stuff.
You know what? Anything that challenges you like that makes you better. And so that was kind of like a creative gauntlet that was thrown down. Okay, I now have to be funny without relying on other devices that I can use at a comedy stage. And also, I had to learn how to be funny in a whole different format. You're talking radio as opposed to stand-up, where you have a chance to tell a story or a joke and take all the time you want. In radio, you got to get to it quick.
Right.
So, I kind of learned as I went along, but another radio friend of ours, Daddy Wags, told me years ago that if you can be funny once a half an hour in the morning, you're good.
I don't stand a chance of ever doing mornings. That's good to know. But I know this now. Thank you, Daddy Wags. Your podcast. Speaking of somebody else, Daddy Wags, he's of course with Jerry Elliott. Whiskey Business. Talk about this.
Whiskey Business, a podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey. I love it. We're about at I think coming up on 26 or 27. The basic premise is the only running premise is there's a different whiskey every week that I share with my guest. You learn a little bit about the whiskey for those who love whiskeys, and then the conversations run from A to Z. And we've had guests from A to Z. Most recently, Fritz the Night Owl, Fritz Perrenboom, from Night Owl Theater. We've had Jerry Elliott from QFM. That's the one that you listened to recently.
I listened to that, and I learned more about the business here locally from it was a two-parter. It was almost 3 hours,
It was a two-parter.
I listened to both of them.
We had to make it a two-parter.
And I learned more about the business, the radio business, here in Columbus from that.
From that one?
From that
From us
thing.
too?
Well, I'll tell you what I liked about it. It was two guys sitting around being totally honest. The gloves were off. But you guys were both very grateful about the entire experience that both of you guys have had, but you were very honest in talking about everything that you guys had gone through.
And that's what I love about it. I think I love Whiskey Business because it gives me the opportunity to like you're doing, to discuss and interview people without any time frame. You know? So I get to expand that skill set, and at the same time, have a good time doing it. We've had psychologists on during the holidays talking about the holiday blues. We had experts on Prohibition, how it all started here in Ohio. Dom Irera, speaking of comedians.
Great comedian.
Other guys that you know, Jeff Gage and Jake Enarino. We talk about improv comedy. The topics run from A to Z, and it's a lot of fun. WhiskeyBusinessShow.com for those who've not yet experienced it.
So you do the podcast, you do the morning show, you also do movies. In fact, we have the trailer here for your latest movie, The Street Where We Live.
The Street Where We Live.
Ross, go ahead and fire that, please.
Okay.
I talked to Amanda earlier today. She said her dad got laid off.
If anything happens, believe me, you're not going to hear it from Amanda.
I don't know how to say this to you, but Barnhart Tool & Die will be closing its doors.
so sorry.
That place is not gonna open back up again, is it?
How about turn the power back on? Things are how they are.
Mom? Where's the car?
As soon as we get the car, we can figure out what to do.
We had a great time, but money's money, right? That would make a fascinating story for your kids, you know?
It's not supposed to be like this. Nothing is supposed to be like this.
I think it's cool that you've been doing this for that long.
I really...
And then now you see that trailer
Yeah, you
and
see
how
that.
cool it is.
For a movie that's never been released, and there's been so many other things that have been released, Ross, where was Bottom Feeders in that mix?
He doesn't get any pizza tonight.
Wow.
He's in trouble.
So this is what I'm going to say. This show is my blood church most weeks. Like there are most weeks I've never done anything like this before.
Right.
And I can tell you the first time, I mean, I don't know if this compares that, but the first episode I did this show, I almost called Ross and said, we can't ever do this again. It was so awful. I was awful because I'm a radio guy, right? I got a microphone in my face, but I had never realized what a spaz I am when you actually put a camera in front of me. So I'm happy you're here.
Actually, you do a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
You do a
very
great
nice
job.
of you to say. So the street where we live
Yeah.
is this distribution. What does that look like for a local independent film like that?
Until we go through this whole long festival submission thing, I mean, I don't really know. I mean, obviously, there's so many platforms now to get a movie out. There's so many streaming platforms with Netflix and Amazon and so forth and so on. There's so many ways to get a film shown these days. Back in the days of that piece of crap that Ross showed, and even after that, there's a film we did called Bottom Feeders. It was a lot harder to get distribution. It was just basically DVD, or you hope and pray for a small theatrical release and then straight to DVD. But now there's so many different options.
Right.
So we'll take any and all of them.
I'll tell you what. Does it piss you off? And I was really off-putting to me as just a Columbusite. I can't imagine what it would have been like for a filmmaker to look at, specifically about 2 or 3 years ago when Travolta shot his steaming pile here in Columbus. And the place went nuts. Sure. 10 TV was doing like live broadcasts.
Why wouldn't they? A Hollywood movie comes to Columbus, Ohio.
There's no such thing really as a B movie, but it was almost like the closest thing to a direct-to-DVD release that exists nowadays. And I just wanted to be like, people in Columbus, you need to act as if. Like if they were to be like, oh yeah, that's cool, John Travolta's here, but we're going to stand back and let him do his thing. I felt like people were kind of intrusive, and I kind of felt bad for the guy.
Really?
I did, because I feel like Columbus is a big enough city, a big enough metropolis that, okay, let me put it in these terms. It's like going out on a date with a girl, okay? Let's say she's way out of your league. Okay. The moment that you start acting like she's way out of your league, you're never going to get a second date. But I felt like people
That's
were
how
going...
you won over Leslie.
Yeah, I don't know how. Actually, I don't know how I won over her. But I felt like as though it was a massive overreaction to what was going on. And if you want this to happen more often, big-time movies to be shot here in Columbus, you can't do that.
Oh, so you think the Columbus public needs to be schooled a little bit?
I think so. I just think they need to act as if.
Can I mention something? I'm from Cleveland, and I got that same feeling too, in the sense that with Cleveland, it's like you hit collective city. It's like we have bad self-esteem.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
'Cause we're not Chicago, we're not New York. It's just one of those things where it was like, I get what you're saying, because it's just like, you're right. Act as if. Act like you've been there before. It's not about.
Maybe we'll learn. Because more stuff's coming.
I hope so.
And a lot of stuff gets shot down in Cincinnati, so maybe we will learn and develop and progress.
And I think also, like what you were just talking about, like Netflix, they pick movies up that you wouldn't have seen otherwise.
Some are good, some are bad.
Yeah. Right. But even the bad ones, I'm like, I understand why they did that. And then you think, okay, let's kind of switch gears just a little bit with, let's say, Jennifer Aniston, okay? She did a movie, Leprechaun. That she doesn't even like to talk about now. She's like, what? And she's in all these huge movies now. I guess my point is that, what I'm seeing looks damn good. And
that movie looks fantastic.
Street Where We Live, we're very proud of Street Where We Live.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very proud of it. Very proud of every. John Whitney directed it, John wrote it. I co-wrote it with him, and the production values. A lot of people that are behind the scenes here.
Right.
And Naomi edited it.
Yeah.
Micah was working sound one day. That was a collective effort. That was literally a group family effort. Like, here's the deal. We're all going to work together on this. If something comes of it, we're all going to share the benefits of it if it sells. So that was definitely, in hindsight, I would never shoot a film like that again. It took place over the course of 9 months of shooting because we shot once a weekend. I'll never do that again. That'll definitely be a 3 or 4 week or 6 week shoot, whatever, all in a row and get it done, because that was so hard to keep a crew and a cast together and keep all the pieces together.
I'm glad you said that. I always wondered how.
Oh, it was brutal, but the outcome, the final outcome was really good. We're really proud of it. And it's all shot in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
A lot in Clintonville, Upper Arlington, Grandview. So in that sense, the city of Columbus was awesome.
So where do we find this again?
And right now, you won't find it anywhere just yet because it's in festival submission. So once we get out of that, there'll be more screenings in Columbus. We had a cast and crew screening. We debuted at the Columbus International Film Festival. There'll be a local screening again here in Columbus, Ohio, to be determined. And then hopefully to market we go with it someplace, somewhere, so we can make another one. If we would have had a fraction of the budget that Travolta had when he made
imagine?
what you call the big old POS. Gosh.
They only had about $250,000 for that.
For that movie?
No way.
Only.
Really?
And what did Travolta take?
Yeah.
He took back end.
Okay, took back end money.
I Am Wrath. Is that right? Yep. I Am Wrath was the movie.
I Am Wrath.
And honestly, it actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it was still relatively unwatchable. It's Travolta at this point, He did okay in the OJ series, but he's not known for stellar blockbusters at this point. I think that time is over with.
Yeah, he had his moments. He went from Urban Cowboy, Saturday Night Fever to the Look Who's Talking movies, and then got his Pulp Fiction. Maybe there's another Pulp Fiction waiting for him somewhere down the line.
I don't think it's going to be shot here in Columbus.
No, maybe not.
Now, how do we find, if we want to follow you again and support?
Oh, yeah, because I'm such a huge social media guy.
We found out for some reason Dino is not on Facebook.
No, Whiskey Business is on Facebook.
Right.
But that's like a whole separate entity.
I'm just jealous over here.
Oh, what? Don't be jealous.
I wish
should be jealous.
Yeah. I wish I could.
I am Facebook free. I am on Twitter at Dino Trip.
Outstanding.
And that's it.
All right, you answered my question.
Would love to. Yeah, I love tweeting. I like Twitter, but that's because it's short. It's 150 characters and you're done. And I don't even do that as often as I should. I suck at social media.
How do we follow for the festival?
You can go to streetwherewelive.com.
Here we go.
And check out the website there. And follow along.
And the movie has a Facebook page too, doesn't it?
The movie has a Facebook page as well. Yep.
Just because you don't have a Facebook page,
that's right.
Dino.
Yep. That's right. I should have checked with John and gotten all this information ahead of time.
Stand up. When's the next time you're performing?
I am performing for the Fraternal Order of Police tomorrow night at the Hollywood Casino for a private affair. But at the Funny Bone, it's Catch as Catch Can at the Funny Bone.
Okay.
Usually on Thursday nights. Whenever I get a chance to host, and the time I like to host on Thursdays or fill in if they need something. But doing a private show for the FOP. Can never do enough things for the men and women in blue, as far as I'm concerned, because you never know when you're going to need them.
And on a personal note, How bad were you the first time you did stand-up? Because I did it for the first time maybe about 3
God
months
awful.
ago. It hurts my soul.
Did you write about 10 minutes of material and go through it in 2?
It was worse than that. It was all based on one analogy, and the original analogy didn't work, and I didn't have anywhere to go to that.
Oh, yeah. Good
My
times.
God.
Yeah.
Holy jeez. My soul has not recovered from that.
Yeah, the one curse of my first time doing stand-up was, as bad as it was and as much as it sucked, I did get a laugh. And when I heard that laughter, I went, okay.
Yeah.
I just have to go back and fix this shit and come back around to it.
My one laugh came from making fun of somebody in the audience. And that made me feel even worse afterwards. Because I was like a fucking bully at that point. Such a
that's a whole nother world.
My stars.
Yeah.
Still
my first love. By the
really?
way. Stand-up comedy. Yeah, stand-up. Still my first love.
So that even that above filmmaking, above radio, it's still stand-up.
Yeah. I mean, everything else runs a pretty close second.
Right.
But the immediacy of stand-up, there's nothing like it.
Whiskey. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Yeah,
You're the host.
No, please. Whiskey Business on Facebook. He's Dino Tripodis, Sunny95.
Thank you.
Monday through Friday, you can catch him on the mornings. I'm going to kick Ross's ass after this show just for good measure.
Oh, no. You're going to have to get ahead of me.
Okay. We'll have Tess do our light work, and then we'll move in there. Dino, thank you, man.
Hey, thank you, man.
This is a real risk.
Tess, very nice to meet you.
This is a real risk, coming into some creepy dude's basement who you don't know and expecting it to end well, and I hope
I've taken far larger risks in my life. So,
very brave soul, man.
Yeah. I always kind of, I knew where the exits were.
Okay. Saw those right away. Dino, thank you very much.
Thank you, man.
We're going to be back in 2 weeks. We have the Peter John Ross Cola Challenge coming your way. Ross is a cola snob. He's insistent that he can find the difference between Coke, RC Cola, and Pepsi. I'm calling bullshit. We'll find out who's right next time on Almost Adequate live from my basement on Facebook Live.